Welcome to the last weekend of June. This week's video is a little bit of a smorgasbord. I have some, there's a little bit of video where I found a local unknown horse manure pile and was able to, oh, hang on, Goose is out. Look at this. Look at this is what Goose does. She hops up on the fence and then she hops right out. We need an electric fence. It's a little frustrating. I'm trying to be very zen about it. Our fence is clearly inadequate, but an electric fence is expensive, and so it just needs to wait. But meanwhile, she's messing up my tomatoes and my beans and all my flowers. Just what chickens do. Must calm down. Where was I? I found an unknown, to me, horse manure pile near a hike that I go on, and I went and picked some up because it was there for the taking. That was pretty exciting. I've also put in a few things here that I wanted to show you that I found on the trail. Something that I've noticed in our hills this summer is that there are, well, this is how Tom puts it. The hills are lousy with voles. V-O-L-E-S, voles. Usually we see ground squirrels chirping, running around. I think I've seen one ground squirrel this year. Voles are the thing. They're everywhere in the hills, scattering constantly. Voles are tiny little, they look like mice. They're really cute, actually. They can really wreak havoc in a garden. But they're up in the hills. I don't really know how they're surviving because there's no water. So they must be getting enough water from the things that they eat. And I got a little video, it's not a great video, of a vole eating some mustard plant up in the hills. I got a little bit of video of a wild feral beehive that I found in an oak tree on another walk. And also some acorn woodpeckers, which are also extremely numerous this year. So I don't know if that's all a direct result of all the rain we had over the winter, which is now of course gone, but it's kind of interesting. I thought I'd share it with you. And we'll also look around at some of the stuff we're harvesting and some of the plants that we're working on right now. This is sort of the calm before the storm, the waiting period before all of the produce comes in. And so every day we're picking blueberries and plums and peaches, so that's coming in now. But the tomato glut is just beginning. We're just getting a few cherry tomatoes every day, a cucumber or so every day, and everything is just, I can just feel it. Like any minute, these tomatoes are all gonna ripen and I'm gonna have to start getting busy with the canning. Now, I will say that we've had, not all is peachy with the tomatoes. We've had some problems. I've already found blossom rot in several plants. I've found a lot of sunburned tomatoes because I pruned too vigorously, and so I've left some of the tomatoes unshaded and they've had some sunburn. So all of that stuff goes in the compost. But that's one of the reasons that I grow so many plants, is that I know if something goes wrong, I still have lots of other plants that should produce just fine. And my experiment about growing tomatoes over in the shady part of the garden, where it's still hot and they still get sun, it's just that they get sun, there goes a vulture. They get sun in the morning and the evening rather than in the middle of the day. Those plants actually look a lot healthier. No sunburn, no blossom end rot, and they're not getting any sun in the middle of the day. So that's kind of interesting. So I'll bring you more about that as the crop starts coming in. And the peppers look good too, but peppers, peppers form their fruit and then they stay on their plant, on the bush, for a long time ripening. So that's just inviting catastrophe. But, I try it every year. One thing we're getting a lot of right now is basil, which is great. So pesto, pesto, pesto. I like to make my pesto with walnuts, and we like to have it on hand for everything, and we also like to freeze it for the winter. So let's take a look around at some of the plants and see what's happening. All right, so sometimes when I come up here, there's a ranger. So I'll ask him Maybe I'll ask him. Oh, well, it looks like there's maybe a bucket's worth of manure over here. Free soil conditioner. Take all you want. Equestrians, please clean up before you leave. Place manure and shavings in bunker or scatter in adjacent fields. Awesome. Check out this. This is just enough maybe for 1 or 2 buckets. This is perfect. I had no idea this was here. Problem is there's some rocks. There now, that's a nice pile of manure. You guys gonna get in there? You guys gonna get in there? Huh? What do you think, Scraps? You guys gonna check it out? This is a drone I just found kind of walking around on the bark. I don't know what's wrong with him. I don't know if he's injured, but I'll take him back over to the hive. Maybe he's just a little, I don't know. It is cocktail hour for the drones. The beans are starting to blossom. That's very exciting. These are bush beans, so no trellis needed. And the chickens every so often escape and get into them, but the beans are still doing pretty well and starting to produce fruit, which is very exciting. Goose. Dag nabbit. You're killing me, Goose. Oh, and Scrappy? Come on, you guys. Come on. Come on. Rip up everything. Dudes, dudettes. Scrappy's pretty easy to catch. She just sits down for me. Look how pretty her coat is. Isn't it pretty? The colors. She's a really pretty bird. I really like these golden sex lynx. They're nice birds. Although they like to fly. Yep, come on, dude. I know you're not a dude. Goose. She could say bad girl, like you could to a dog, and they would listen. They're ripping up all my flowers. I'm not going to show you much in the way of tomatoes, because I know you guys must get sick of seeing all the green tomatoes, but I wanted to show you this variety. Maybe there's a better one I can show you there. Maybe that's easier to see. This is the pink Berkeley tie-dye tomato, so it's going to be striped, all different colors, which is cool. So those are starting, and oh man, they're beautiful tomatoes, aren't they? And they're getting nice and big. So that's one variety in particular I'm looking forward to. Good example of a sunburned tomato. So you can see where it's gotten all soft and yellow there. I'm really sad because this is a beautiful tomato, but that sunburn is going to make the whole thing rot. So I always have to remove them and throw them to the chickens or throw them in the compost. It's kind of a bummer. The hops. I don't really know what to tell you about the hops. So the hops have grown up like they're supposed to, but they have hardly grown across these strings like we always expect them to. And they have bloomed, or at least this one has bloomed. I don't know if you can see those blooms up there. And then those blooms turn into, name of them, cones. They turn into hot cones. So we've had some blooms, but not a whole lot. And I don't really know, I don't know what to tell you the problem is. I think they've done worse than they did last year. My only feeling is that we grow them in these planters, and hops, you know, hops really like to spread out. They like to run in the ground sideways and really get a lush stand. And I think that they're really limited by being in these pots. And they're growing and they're producing some cones, but nothing like what we wanted. So that's disappointing. I've had more people stop by the garden this year and comment on the artichoke blossoms. This has been the focal point of our early summer garden. Everyone stops and asks about it. The bees love them. They're beautiful. They're unusual. And these plants produce food. And they're perennial. They come back year after year. So I'm starting to think artichoke might be one of those plants that you just have to have in a garden. So this will be basil tonight to have on our grilled chicken. I planted this basil May 29th. And it's ready to eat now. So this is just Genovese basil. I also have some purple Thai basil, but this Genovese is the one that we tend to plant the most of. And these are the black pots that I was telling you about. These black 10-gallon pots. And I just fill them up with potting soil and put in seeds, and we've done several of these pots so that we have a succession planting of basil. And I'll continue to do that all summer. Some ripe huckleberries. I think I'll take those and eat them. They're good. They're not big enough. They taste really amazing. You know, I have a real appreciation now that I never had before I had a garden, of the people who pick our fruits and vegetables. It's a lousy job. Picking fruit in particular, sucky. Like, think about strawberries. You know, you have strawberries in your yard. You have to bend down. Think about picking them all day. Think about picking them in 100-degree heat in a dry valley in California. Think about getting paid by the pint or by the bushel. Think about how fast you'd have to pick in order to make enough money that day to feed your family. Blueberries. You know, I have high bush blueberries that are still a bending over picking thing. They're in Maine, they're low bush. They're low bush blueberries out in like the forests, clearings. Somebody has to bend over and pick all of these they're teeny, like the size of my huckleberries, for all day, every day, until that season's done, and then they go on to the next thing. I mean, I really respect our migrant farm workers. It's a hard, crappy job. Thank you for doing it. You should be paid more. We should be paying more for these things in the store so that you get paid more. I hate to think what your knees feel like and your back feel like at the end of the day. These have turned out to be a lovely flower to have, this Plains coreopsis, which is a wildflower that grows all across the western United States. And I've just been deadheading them as they die, but I haven't noticed a huge amount of bees on them, but they are really pretty. And something I've decided that I really like about plants, I like plants that sort of blow around in the breeze. I like that effect, this sort of cottagey effect. So I will plant these again. She's out again. Where's that banjo music? you stinker, trellis against this back fence, which is falling down. And I planted a bunch of Malabar spinach seeds, and they're just now starting. Well, there's also some tithonia in the front, but they're just starting to come up, which is exciting. I'm gonna have to plant some more. Oh gosh, there's a mimosa. That's not good. I don't want that coming up. Anyway, Tom put in this drip line back here, and I'm hoping I'll seed some more Malabar spinach, and I'm hoping it'll grow up against this whole back fence, which I think it gets some sun in the middle of the day, but I think it'd be really pretty to just cover up this fence with a vegetable that we can eat and harvest from all summer long. Here I am back by the lavender, which is really doing well this year. I brought many different kinds of lavender from, oh gosh, I'll link it down below. I think it's Mountain Valley Growers, and they send you these tiny little plants, plugs. But what was that, 2 years ago that I planted this herb bed with all kinds of different plugs of, there are 12 different kinds of lavender in here. And now it's paying off. It's just beautiful. And the bees come in here, and they're in here all day long. And it smells good down here. And the neighbors like it. And when it gets dry, I cut it and I use it in my thieves vinegar that I make to clean with and to use for fabric softener in the laundry. So it gets used many different ways, or sometimes I make sachets out of it and hang it in the coat closets. Anyway, you can never have too much lavender, is my opinion. So thanks for watching this week. Maybe by next week in July, maybe we'll have some big tomatoes to show you. That would be exciting. I hope you have a great week. I hope wherever you are, you're enjoying the fruits of your labor. Take care.